Hey everyone, Coach Jordan, happy Friday. It's here finally. Okay. Today we have some squat mobility. We're just going to use our bodies to open up our hips a little bit. If you did Murph, or again, a variation of Murph on Monday, the soreness is probably really starting to settle in, especially in your hip area from all those squats. The running, just your legs are battered, your shoulders, everything hurts. I was painting today. If you're feeling great. This is only going to help. If you're feeling pretty rough, please sneak in about 3 to 5 minutes is what I want you to set aside for this. Consider it your strength portion today, okay? And then our workout, depending on how efficient you are, could be anywhere from 18 to just over 20 minutes. But keep in mind today's workout is a 24-minute time cap, so set yourself a clock or a timer so you don't exceed that, okay? It's actually not... I just read my writing. It's not 3 rounds for time, it's 8 rounds for time. So I'm going to change that. Otherwise, it's going to be a short workout and a lot of you would be disappointed. Okay. But here's what we have. So we're going to set some time today to do some squat mobility drills. I'm going to do just a few movements. There's a lot more out there. There's things that are better for certain people, but some things that I really like to focus on if someone struggles with a squat, some simple ankle mobility tools, just ways to get you to feel better about squatting. And to hopefully relieve some of the tightness and soreness from Monday or Tuesday or the weekend whenever you did your variation of Murph, if you did it, okay? And then our workout is 8 rounds for time. Keep in mind there's a 24-minute time cap, so I don't want you to exceed 24 minutes. This workout should take less than that, okay? 8 rounds for time. So it depends on what you have for equipment here for this first movement, but it's going to be 3 double object man makers. So if you have 2 dumbbells that are the same weight, great. 2 kettlebells you could do man makers with, a little bit tougher, but you certainly could. For those of you that have 1 dumbbell or 1 kettlebell or a slam ball, your movement's gonna be slightly different, and I'll talk about that, okay? So either 3 double object man makers or 2 left, 2 right, so a total of 4 if you have a single object, okay? And I'll talk about how that movement should look and feel, okay? Then we're gonna go 30 plate hops, jump ropes, or double unders if you have them. We're essentially just going to be hopping in place. If you have a plate at home that you can hop to, great. If you have a step that you can step on and off 30 times, that's great. If hopping isn't your friend. Jump rope if you have it, 30 reps. Okay, single unders, double unders, doesn't matter. Just get them done. And that's all I got for that movement. Okay, lastly, 300-meter run, row, or 90 seconds of cardio. I would encourage, obviously, some of you have rowers, great if you do 300 meters. Some of you, most of us don't. You could run 300 meters or something that's just over a minute. If you don't have distance, you have time, right? Run away from your spot, about 30 seconds, turn around, come back. It'd be perfect, okay? Or 90 seconds of cardio. You could run in place. You could, if you absolutely want to you could do mountain climbers, but I wouldn't recommend that for 8 rounds. Lots of stuff to do for the cardio, but run, the weather should be nice. Okay, so squat mobility drills and then 8 rounds for time. Keep in mind there's a 24-minute time cap. Okay, so let's talk about those real quick. My golf attire today, feeling good. My first round of golf in almost 2 years, so that was crazy. But I only lost 1 ball, so win-win. Squat mobility drills, there's a few of them that I've incorporated in our warm-up over the last few weeks. Let me adjust my camera angle here. Like the super squat, which is a really popular one. I'll talk about that one. So I'd like you to get in a few reps of this one, okay? Super squat, remember you're gonna have shoulder width stance, maybe feet just outside your shoulders for those of us, including myself, who's a little less flexible. Fingertips are gonna go underneath your toes. And we're gonna try to sit at the bottom of our squat with our hands inside of our knees. So often I see people do this, they have their hands on the side of their knees. Not what we're after. We don't squat pushing our knees in, we push our knees out. So we're gonna stretch by pushing our knees out, okay? So I'm gonna find stable ground, not on top of the rug. Hands underneath the fingertip, or the toes if you can. I'm gonna sit down and do a squat. There it is. I'm gonna have my chest pointed forward, and I'm gonna hang out there for a few seconds. Then I'm gonna push my knees back and stretch out my hamstrings, all while my fingertips are still underneath my toes. Hang out there for a few seconds and transition back into the super squat, okay? The squat and then into the almost like a deadlift type position is considered 1. I'd like to see anywhere from 5 to 8 of those consecutively. That should take you a little over a minute for sure to get those in, okay? It's a super great tool to help open up the hips, stretch out the hip flexors, the hamstrings, kind of everything that we use to squat, right? Quads certainly, but a lot of those supporting muscles when we stand up out of our squat need to get stretched as well, okay? Lunges are always a great one. Lunges might not be your friend right now, but some lunge stretches could be great. A Samson stretch, right? So go ahead and get yourself into a traditional lunge, back knee on the floor. Make sure that you are straight with your torso. You're not leaning forward. Okay, and you're just gonna reach your hands up nice and tall. And then from here, as you're reaching up, you can sort of rock your weight in and out of that lunge. All right, feel that stretch in that hip flexor, maybe in that hamstring a little bit of that back leg. Lead leg we're just using for balance, okay? Rock in and out of that a few times, then be sure to switch legs, okay? So anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds is about all you need. Any more than that isn't really gonna benefit you. So 20 to 30 seconds of that stretch before you switch to the next leg, okay? So super squats, lunge stretch. I'd like to see some variation of an ankle mobility stretch, one of my favorites. You could take an object, preferably a little bit heavier. It's really difficult to overdo this stretch, so to speak, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and find myself in that lunge position again, but I'm looking at my lead foot. I actually want my knee to go over my toe, right? Traditional lunge, we make sure that our knee stays behind our toe, helps us stay more upright, and it's a more stable position for our knee when we go to stand up. But in this time, we're not standing up, we're just stretching. So I'm gonna put this object, in this case, my dumbbell, on top of my knee, and I'm gonna push my knee over my toe while keeping my heel on the floor. It's really easy for my heel to wanna lift up as I push forward. Keep it there by using your opposite hand to push down and push your knee over your toe. And you can hang out here for upwards of 45 seconds to a minute, okay? Kettlebells, dumbbells work best for this. You could use a slam ball or a sandbag. And then slowly come up out of that, drop the weight, and then get yourself up safely. You should feel a nice stretch on the back of that ankle, the Achilles, okay? Super important to have really good ankle mobility for your squat. Josh says it all the time, right? He's been coaching probably longer than most of us. Obviously, he doesn't coach much anymore in person, but one of the best things I learned from him was someone who comes in fresh off the street or just someone who struggles squatting, the first thing you look at is their ankles. 90% of folks who have trouble squatting have poor ankle mobility, right? Your chest drops and your heels come off the ground. So there's some really simple stretches that we can do, like the ones we just did, to improve that, okay? Or coming off of a workout like Murph or variation of Murph, where we do a lot of squatting, a lot of hip work. Stretches like that can help reduce soreness, reduce injury, and improve those areas that we use often with our workouts. Okay, so spend 3 to 5 minutes going through those once or twice, whichever feels good. Don't do too much. Don't exceed about 5 minutes for those movements, okay? After that, we get to our workout. Plate hops, jump rope, double unders, pretty straightforward, okay? If you don't have a plate to hop onto, you can do bunny hops in place. You're just literally hopping in place 30 times. Or if hopping's not your thing, step up and down. Do some step ups, 30 total step ups instead of hopping, for sure, okay? Finishing with that 300-meter run, row, or 90 seconds of cardio. If you can run, set yourself about a 30-second course, turn around, come back. Okay, shuttle runs, if you're doing shuttle runs, roughly a minute to just over a minute's worth. Those are a little more intense than just taking a straight shot run, right? Because of the turning, the accelerating, decelerating, there's more energy expelled there. Figure out what's gonna work for you, but keep it under 90 seconds, okay? For those of you that are thinking jump rope, we're already doing jump rope in this workout, so stay away. So I encourage you to run, row, do some variation of cardio instead of that, okay? Really the only movement I need to talk about today is this man maker, okay? Remember, it's a high plank position movement, row, push up, into a squat, plane into a press. Now, there's a lot going on, so I'm gonna talk about it, but keep in mind, depending what you have for equipment, this movement could look different for you, okay? So for me, having a single dumbbell, I'm gonna do 2 on each side, so it's equal. I'm not gonna do 3, because that would be an odd number. I don't want you to remember to try to switch arms next round, it's too much. So you're gonna do 4 total versus 3, okay? Remember, this renegade row, when I start in my high plank position, if I have a single object, it's gonna look like this. Row, do my push-up, get my feet underneath me, squat with the object, and then press to overhead. And that's one. I would go back down, get my feet back, push up, row that side, feet in, clean to your shoulders, squat, and press. Okay, so that would be 2 on my right. Then I would follow that with 2 on my left side. Okay. For those of you that have matching dumbbells, you could just do 2 or 3 total, right? So you're just row right, row left, push up, double object clean, squat into a press. Okay, so a little less work for you by 1 rep, but you have 2 objects versus 1. So be pretty close to a wash, all right? For those of you that have slam balls, for this movement, I'd like you to essentially get yourself in a high plank over your slam ball, shoulder tap on each side, get your feet underneath you, grab onto your slam ball, and then it'd just be a slam ball thruster. So pretend this dumbbell is my slam ball. High plank, shoulder tap, push up, underneath, grab onto your slam ball, get it to your front rack, squat, and then double overhand press it to overhead. And that would be 1. And you would do that, because it's a single object, total of 4 times, okay? Don't forget, this workout is 8 rounds for time, 24-minute cap. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend, folks. Thanks.